Taylor, thanks very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much for organising this. Thank you very much all for coming. I know how busy you are, but as you can see with both Shirley and I, we think this is one of the most important things we'll be doing as a university. This is also what excites me about a university, about being an academia. But today is about sharing best practice of our ideas of how we tackle this important area, how we can make lives better for our students, how we can think about learning, in the future going forward, and all the knowledge people in this room combine together to make our own practice here at UTS even better. I suppose what I wanted to say was, Shirley and I are very strong in a whole lot of things, most things, but I can't think of much I disagree with at all. But particularly in this research teaching integration, and also in the importance of sharing best practice at the moment across UTS on how we can do this in a better and more effective way. It's a very interesting time for universities, as I'm sure you're all aware. Fundamental models, perhaps, of learning, the way that they've been delivered by universities in the past, while are changing. There's a lot of hysteria out there as well, but it seems to be a real shift and evolution in the way that learning can be delivered. And we're very fortunate at UTS because we have one of the world's leading experts on that, in Shirley Alexander, so we've got the right person to help guide us. However, again, some of those theories it could be the death of some of the universities. I, on the other hand, I think Shirley also agrees, things this allow us to get back to the core of what a university really is about, what university education is about. About critical thought, about self-learning, about problem solving, and about professional interaction that allows people to become lifelong learners and gives them the skills then to move forward. I think in the past, over the course of history, universities have become guardians of content to a greater or lesser extent. I think with all the technologies available at the moment, some of that content, not content so much for the context of learning, but just basic content provision, is now being removed from universities, and I think that's actually going to be quite free if we take the opportunities in the right way. At UTS, we pride ourselves in producing graduates not only that have all the skills that you normally think of graduates, but that are work ready, can work in the industry, can lead, and that's a very important part of it, can actually lead the professions. And to be a leader, you often have to keep learning all through your life. Okay? The critical thing, if you think about most of the leaders that you know and respect, is their ability to reflect, to problem solve, to change, to adapt. Okay? And that's one of the key things, again, that I think the research integrated, research inspired learning that we can do at UTS can generate in our students. Our model of UTS learning is, quite you all well know, very practice oriented, which does a great thing for our students. We integrate research and inquiry alongside teaching learning, and that's our aim to do it right from the outset of their time at UTS. But not only does that mean our students get an education and knowledge that's at the leading edge of their disciplines, being inspired in the latest research thinking, but also focuses on the inquiry-oriented learning, sets their path to, as I said, this lifelong learning skills. Most of us who are here today would appreciate that a really inspiring learning environment and the great research are actually almost the same thing. They have the same underpinning characteristics, which is problem solving, critical thought, and innovation. We're fortunate at UTS, I think, to recognise this. We already recognise this in the UTS model. And so therefore all the challenges I think that are coming up, and Shirley I think will speak a lot about those, we've got a great head start. How do we then extend the UTS model to take what I'd say, rather than respond to the challenges, to take all these opportunities that I think the evolution is going to afford to us. All these wonderful opportunities to really provide fantastic experiences for our students. And research integration is an absolutely critical part of this. Just as an example, I suppose I wanted to say, and my good friend Les has already nicked one of my points, but one of the important things when Shirley and I are working on this together is we've done a lot of things across UTS in terms of how we make sure that the research and the learning are very closely integrated. The focus, for example, on the Research Excellence Awards every year, one of the primary awards is that of research and teaching integration, just to try and demonstrate the incredible value UTS places on that. The focus on specific opportunities with external partners, again another good characteristic of UTS, working with other external partners in industry, such as the CSIRO one. I was going to go on a little bit more about that, but you've nailed it there, thank you Les. And finally, of course, when we think about new areas of teaching, and that's something that Shirley is very strong on, for example, in the creative intelligence and data analytics courses, making sure that right from the outset they're designed with the integrated teaching and learning aspects combined. That's about all I wanted to say, because I know that Shirley has a whole lot more, much more valuable and useful information to talk about this afternoon. I'm in the middle of interviews all day, but I've managed to cut one interview short, start one late, so I can jump out and actually be here to talk and listen to Shirley's presentation. But are there any questions before I leave off the podium?
Question?
Steve.
Hi, Attila. How do you think we can grow the links between teaching and learning at UTS? And with limited resources, where do you think we should direct the most attention?
Okay. Can you repeat the question? Because I think she has actually got a slide on this.
Oh, okay. So how do you think we can grow the links between teaching and learning at UTS? And in a world where we've got limited resources, where do you think we should direct the most attention?
Can I just put a hold on that, and I'll tell Attila the answer later.
I can see a slide here, so she'll tell me the answer and you.
Is there anybody? Another question?
But actually, before I go to share that question, Michael, you're right. Resources are limited. Okay. So what I think a lot of what we're trying to do, what I'm trying to do, is pilot innovative techniques in certain areas. So pick some of the areas like what Les has talked about, okay, and then trial out new things as we go through, and then use forums like this and others to share that best practice. Similarly, we have in FAST and a number of other faculties, they've had forums where they've said, okay, here's some of the best practices, here's some of the working techniques that we have, which ones work particularly well, and how can we support and then disseminate them more broadly. So I suppose in the limited resources, and there's lots of different ways we can do this, it's trying multiple avenues, and then I suppose supporting and disseminating the ones that work. Because again, I suppose the core of being an academic is in each of our areas, things are very different. Disciplines are different, the way we want to try and teach is different. So having access to lots of different types of approaches enables us as academics to then really think about what works for us, what works for our students, what works in our particular context.
Thank you. Someone got another question for Attila? Yes. I'm sorry, I don't know.
I just wanted to ask about research, and I guess it's sort of closing the loop of when we're trying things with our students and then disseminating research about that. I don't know if it varies across the university, but the impression I've had from quite a few colleagues has been somehow that research in the area of education or teaching and learning or in this kind of area is kind of looked down on because it's not seen as real research. I don't know if that's the whole university thing or just certain people or...
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, it was just sort of a question really about linking our research and teaching. And so if we're trying different initiatives like this and then trying with our students and producing research out of that as well, it's just a lot of people seem to look down on the kind of teaching side of something that needs to be get done and dusty, and that's the real research. And that if you're doing research in teaching or improving your teaching in a particular area away from education, that it's somehow less value. I've had that basically told to me by quite a few colleagues. I just wonder if that's a whole university thing or...
It's not. I mean, I would support good research in whatever form it takes, and good research in education is absolutely critical. In fact, the winner 2 years ago at the UTS Teaching Research was Keith Willey, whose whole research area, is on research in education. So no, it is important, and the university itself values it, and I know I support it where we can. Yeah. We have scholarships both, and Shirley and I support in this particular endeavours.
If I can just support. I can just support what Attila said. I find that there's enormous variability in the quality of the research outputs from a kind of folksy written article, which then people try and claim as research and then get upset when it's not accepted, through to very high quality research that would stand very well in any international journal. So perhaps some people have been exposed to the other end of the spectrum, but we certainly support high quality research processes and then well-written articles. I thought I'd just come and join you today.
Yes. Oh, sorry, I thought you were doing it. Okay. Well, thanks very much for taking time from your busy schedule to here. I know this will have made a big impact on the people here because we do really appreciate you coming along. Hopefully this will be something that will perpetuate. We'll get people together with different backgrounds and interests and experiences, and we'll learn a lot from them. I think the momentum you're going to give to this is really fantastic. So, come and thank Attila for his presentation.